Hi, I'm Lisa Bloom for Avvo.com. If you've been watching the news today, you know that Christie is in the news. He's accused of political retribution against the mayor of Fort Lee, New Jersey. He's accused of causing so much traffic in that area in an effort to get back at the mayor who didn't support him in the election. Christie denies any involvement. He says it was his staffers who did this. He's outraged and he's fired a couple of them. So, what kind of legal problems does Christie face if indeed prosecutors can show he was connected, that he did direct this activity? Well, let me break it down. First of all, federal corruption law. There's a honest services fraud statute that deals with corrupt political officials, but the U.S. Supreme Court has recently narrowed that law and said it only applies if the official gets money, something of value, a bribe or a kickback. And that doesn't seem to be the case here. So that's probably out. Obstruction of justice laws, maybe, if somebody can prove that Christie or the people who work with him were covering up this scheme in an attempt to destroy or hide evidence, that could come into play. Again, there's no evidence of that right now. Public records laws could be implicated. Newspapers say they've asked for these emails in the past, as recently as a month ago, and they weren't forthcoming. Perhaps a violation of the public records laws then. But state criminal laws in New Jersey, I think, are probably the most applicable. Christie would be guilty of official misconduct if he breached a duty related to the office with the intention of injuring or depriving another person or a benefit. I think that language is broad enough to include causing a harm to the good drivers of New Jersey by way of slowing them down on the highways as an act of political retribution. That can carry, by the way, 5 to 10 years in prison in New Jersey if he was convicted of that. And then the big one would be criminal negligence. Let's say that the prosecutor could show that Christie ordered this traffic slowdown and that it caused an ambulance to delay in getting to the hospital. And this has already been alleged in one incident. There was a 91-year-old woman who was slowed down in getting to the hospital. When she got there, she died. If prosecutors could show a causal connection between the traffic slowdown and her death, wow, potentially very serious charges against Christie there. And then, of course, there are potentially civil charges on behalf of anybody who lost money, income, deals that fell through as a result of the traffic slowdown. Those civil cases could be brought for lawsuits for money damages. What about a class action by all those school children who lost time in their education? I mean, lawyers could get very creative here. Look, all of this assumes that Christie was behind this act of retribution, which, as I say, he has vigorously denied. But I would strongly urge him, Governor Christie, it's time for you to lawyer up. Take this seriously because investigators are already circling the wagons.